Who's excited this morning? All right. Better than the golf clap, that's for sure. Well, I'm really excited too. And not only because I'm sharing this moment with all of you, and I'm extremely grateful for that. I'm excited because my toilet broke yesterday. And you know what this means? I got to ask a whole bunch of questions. What's malfunctioning? How do I fix this? What should I do? So I had to research. The flapper, the overflow tube, the fill valve, the flange. I fixed the toilet all by myself. Now, what's interesting about this is before the unknown happens, like a toilet breaking, a new experience, you could argue that you know a lot. Hey, I've worked in a whole bunch of different companies. I've gone to university. I know quite a bit. But when the unknown happens, when new experiences happen in our lives, three beautiful words enter my mind. I know nothing. These are the most beautiful words in the English language because isn't it motivating? Doesn't it bring eagerness to learn? Doesn't it drive you to do something when you admit that you know nothing, that you don't have all of the solutions, versus the mindset of, hey, I know everything. Well, if you know everything, then why do anything? Why get out of bed when you already know what to expect of the world and of yourself? I know nothing. I'd like to explain 3 reasons today why we should question everything, why questioning and learning is so important and the most important thing in our lives. And I want you to keep those 3 beautiful words in your minds all day today. Number 1, asking questions helps us feel grateful. Remember the quote, ignorance is bliss. I completely disagree. The more I know about the world, the more grateful I feel to live today. I am extremely grateful. And it wasn't always like this. You know, I remember a specific moment when I was 9 years old, when I was opened up to a world of wonder. At 9 years old, my family and I have 3 older brothers and 1 younger sister, and we would drive to Montreal to visit my grandparents multiple times a year. And 7 of us would get into a 1988 baby blue Dodge Caravan. What an adventure. And when we'd visit my grandparents, my siblings and I, we would go play, usually to the basketball courts at a school near the house. And when I was 9, I decided to leave. I took my bike, and I left. And I biked all the way to the St. Lawrence River, and I sat there, and I skipped rocks, all by myself. Of course, my brothers and sister and parents were worried about me and didn't know where I went, but I was fine. I was just skipping some rocks, wondering what the meaning of life really was. How does the rock skip so effortlessly across the water? Why is the sky blue? It was such a beautiful moment in my life. And fast forward 20 years, from that moment on, I have never stopped questioning the world that I live in. It gets me out of bed every morning. It excites me to the core to ask questions, to learn more. I live in Toronto. I've lived here for many years. I still walk outside and am in complete awe at the marvel and ingenuity that humans can build these massive structures. Every time I walk outside, I have to ask the questions. How long does it take to build a 50-story building? What materials are involved? How many people does it take? So living in a condo, I'm full of appreciation and gratitude that I'm living in this structure because I know the effort that it took. I know the engineering that it took to make such an accomplished building. I've traveled around the world, been in airplanes constantly, But every time I'm in an airplane, 30,000 feet up in the air, traveling at 800 kilometers an hour, and I'm sipping a cold glass of orange juice, I'm in complete amazement every single time. So I have to ask the question, how does an airplane work? How am I experiencing the miracle of flight? That's where gratitude comes in. You think I'm going to be ungrateful knowing about how an airplane works and how this was engineered? You think I'm going to be disappointed with an hour delay, a 2-hour delay, a 3-hour delay? Of course not. I'm grateful to experience flying because I know a lot about it and have asked those questions. How about this one? The grocery store. We all grocery shop. I walk into the grocery store mid-January, and there's bananas, and there's blueberries, and strawberries available at will. So much selection. So I have to ask and I have to research, hey, what are the logistics like to get this fruit from Mexico and from California? That is incredible. I am filled with a sense of gratitude to live in this world today. I am filled with questions that need answering. Learning fuels me. When you ask these big questions, you feel full within. You feel appreciative of the world that you live in, the world that you occupy with other people. That's why we ask questions. It fills us with meaning and with gratitude. We ask questions to solve problems. Well, that's an easy one. But I'm not talking about the problems that we may get in school. Like I remember, we think of questions, we automatically relate that to testing. You get questions on a piece of paper and you have to fill out the answer. If Susie gets up at 7:30 in the morning and she has to walk 5 kilometers to school and she walks at a pace of 3.5 kilometers per hour, at what time will Susie arrive at school? These kinds of questions bore me to tears. I'm talking about the real questions, the big questions. Now, questions aren't always fun, though, and they don't always bring a sense of gratitude, but they solve meaningful problems. Isaac Newton, why does the apple fall from the tree? Albert Einstein, what would the universe look like if I rode through it on a beam of light? The biggest discoveries start from questions. And in my personal life, questions actually saved my life and solved one of the biggest problems I'd ever faced. Ten years ago, I was diagnosed with clinical depression and generalized anxiety disorder. When you get a diagnosis like that and you feel a certain way and you feel depressed, let me just talk about depression for a quick second. Depression is a feeling in the moment that everything is meaningless and hopeless. But the big thing with depression is that it takes away your sense of future. We live today to actually see tomorrow. We look forward to things. That's what keeps us going. You may look forward to the conference today. You may look forward to school next week. You may look forward to seeing a friend or seeing a concert or going to a musical festival, anything that you really enjoy. With depression, it takes that sense of future away from you. Why would I continue to live? Why would I move through life when nothing in my future would make me happy? Nothing would ever bring me joy. Why continue to live when there's no meaning and there's no future? So my future was black. My present was black. My past was full of regret. But what I discovered was there was still that 9-year-old Scott who wondered about the world. There were still years of questioning within me. And even though questions didn't make me feel grateful, they weren't fun, I was still a curious person deep within. Questions saved my life because depression was new, okay? I knew what anger was, I knew what sadness was, I knew what nervousness was, but this was new. And just like the toilet, new experiences forced me to ask new questions, right? So what thought came into my mind. I know nothing. I don't have all the solutions. I don't know what I'm feeling, so how could I possibly judge the situation? I don't have all the information. So, I needed to ask questions. I needed to solve this problem of depression. Question, why do I feel this way? What is this feeling? Who can I trust to tell? What's the best course of action to solve this problem? Will this feeling last forever? Am I the only one who's gone through this? These questions saved my life because the answers were so extremely helpful. That's why we ask questions, not to solve just problems on a test, not just to get through the daily tedium of life, but big life problems need great questions. That's where you start. That's where you start with problem solving. Ask questions. Now, the third reason we ask questions, well, connect with others. And who doesn't want to connect with every single person on earth and be friends with everyone? Wouldn't that be fantastic? I know that's not reality, but we can do the best we can to connect with other people by asking questions. So what happened with me with depression and anxiety was when you feel terrible for so long, and then I finally could tread water and I could finally breathe, I noticed that just feeling okay was the best feeling in the world. Just being able to get out of bed was the best feeling in the world. Just having an appetite was the best feeling in the world. So when I could tread water and I got out of depression, more questions came to mind. I spent the last 10 years researching about depression and anxiety and what this actually means. But the ultimate question came into my mind. Why question? I asked the question about questions. Why question? Why is it important? And to answer this question, well, I had to travel back to the non-smile era. With this guy, actually he's kind of smiling. He's having a good time. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Anyone study philosophy here? Well, he was a philosopher, great, in the 1700s. We had one person. We had a philosopher. He was a philosopher in the 1700s, okay? And what Jean-Jacques Rousseau wanted to do was make an argument of what makes us human, what makes me, me, what makes you, you, what makes us, us, all right? So he's like, okay, first we have to find out what differentiates us from animals. Okay, so we have the ability to reason. But Jean-Jacques Rousseau coined this term, perfectibility. He said, wait a second, humans have the ability to forge their own path. They can deviate from which they were born. They have the ability to choose and ask questions and better their lives. That's the point he was trying to make, where an animal is driven by instinct and is perfect already. A human can deviate, forge your own path, become perfect and better each and every day. That's what separates us from the animals. That makes us, us. But then this guy comes along and he's smiling. And this person, his name is Immanuel Kant, and he said, yo, Rousseau, that's pretty cool. I agree with, self-improvement and self-development. You got some points. You coined your own term. Well, I got to coin my own term too. And he said, I'm going to think about something. What makes humans humans? And I'm going to add on the perfectibility. And he coined the term enlarged thought. And what that means is the more you question and the more you learn, the more you connect with other people. The more you question and the more you learn helps you connect with other people, right? Think about me in depression, learning about mental illness. Think about how many more people I can connect with now who may have suffered or are suffering in the present moment. Think about how I can empathize with more people in the world. Think about learning a new language. Now you can connect with millions of other people. You have knowledge about new cuisines, new countries, new senses of humor. You can connect with more people that live in this world, and that's what he wanted to say. He said, let's create this enlarged thought. Let's not be a narrow-minded spirit. Let's learn more. Let's connect with other people. Let's do our best to question the world in which we live. Let's widen our horizon. That's what we need to do. These two philosophers changed my life because they really connected with me in a way that answered the question of why live almost. What's so great about being human anyways? What's so great about the world anyways? What's so great is that we can become better and better human beings each and every day by questioning and by learning. So this gets me up out of bed every single morning. Every single morning. No matter how much you know, there's always more you can learn. Now, we're all in school here, and I would urge you to let curiosity drive you. Let curiosity and questioning be the motivator behind your decisions. Question the world that you live in. Don't settle for maybe just one career. I've worked at hospitals, I've worked for nonprofits, I've worked in tech industries, I've worked in valet parking. I've done all sorts of different things. I studied environment and business, and now I'm doing mental health stuff, and now I have my own. I've started this business, Depression to Expression, where we help millions around the world with their mental health. You don't have one path to walk down your entire life. Jean-Jacques Rousseau said, forge your own path. You can branch out. Discover new things. You can be interested in a million things. You can have more than one passion, right? Stay curious. Let questions enter your mind. Let the unknown wrap you in a comforting blanket. Stay curious and question everything. Thank you.